going on, guys? Welcome back to the farm. We got a good one for you today. We're going to talk a little bit about pig breeds. Now, this is going to be a collaboration video, don't mind him, with a couple other farms here in the region. I guess you'll call it the Northeast New England-ish region. So we're going ahead, we're going to work with Kyle the Backwoods Butcher up in New Hampshire, Joe from Blakesley Acres over in New York, and Cruz from B Mills Farm up in New York as well. If you guys have not seen our first collaboration video back in October, we talked a lot about winter preparation. We got on Kyle and Joe's podcast, and that's exactly what we're gonna do this time around. So book it, mark your calendar, Saturday, February 10th, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna be on the Meet the Critters podcast, guys, and we're gonna talk more about these guys. All right, so with that being said, let's get into it. I'm gonna talk about these guys. I'm gonna give you as much info as I have on our breed, and we'll see if it's the right choice for you. Again, the whole point of this is to get a kind of broad perspective on different pig breeds. Those guys are gonna have some different ideas, some different breeds, and different qualities in their pigs as well. So it's gonna be really cool for everybody to kind of see what works best on their farm. And again, that is the point of doing these collaborations. Okay, so before we dive into this, I want to talk about the two types of pigs. If you're new to farming and you're new to pigs, it's important that you kind of understand that not all breeds are created equally. If you take one type of pig and you're expecting a chunk of bacon off of it, well, it might not work out that way. So on one hand, you have your bacon pigs, also known as your meat pigs in a lot of instances. And really the difference there is you're gonna have larger animals, a longer carcass in a lot of ways, which is gonna be kind of that long belly, which is gonna be that bacon flap there. So meat pigs are just rule of thumb. Meat pigs are gonna be bigger. You're also, as we get Ziggy in here, try to keep the pigs in the background for the purpose of this video, right? Now, on the other hand, you're gonna have lard pigs. Now, that's a heavily fat-laden animal. It's gonna be a smaller frame. Whoever came up with these classifications and kind of these types, very straightforward. You're gonna have a meat pig and you're gonna have a lard pig. So very simple to kind of understand there. So all that being said, what do you think we have here? You guessed it, guys, a little bit of both. So we have a cross here, and it is a Hampshire, which is gonna be, again, a Hampshire is gonna be your meat pig. And then we also have a cross with an American guinea hog, which is going to be a lard pig. So you put the two together, and Ziggy's what you got here. And Betsy, can't forget about her. She's a great sow. Okay, guys, so that's gonna be it. We have an American guinea hog and a Hampshire cross. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna talk a little bit about what goes into these pigs here. So let's go into an American guinea hog first. American guinea hog is going to be your lard pig, like we talked about. Two types. Here's our lard pig out of the bunch. It is a smaller framed pig. Primarily, they're going to be black. Now, historically, they came to the United States in the early 1800s, from what I read on them, and they were also known as kind of the poor man's pig. Now, over time, you may have seen this kind of through the homesteader movements. If you're into the homesteader channels here on YouTube, they have become very popular because they are going to be smaller. They're a little easier to work with. They're very, very friendly. Great breeding capabilities. The sows are fantastic. And I do believe Betsy here has quite a bit of American guineaing just by kind of her characteristics and her size. But really the size, they're going to get up to 200 pounds max in a lot of capacities. Now, if you let them grow out longer, like pretty much anything, they'll put on more weight. But in this instance, it's going to just be more fat. Conversely, we switch over here to our Hampshire. And I point at Ziggy because he looks like a Hampshire. He's a big animal. He's lean. Hampshires are known to have that kind of lean look, the longer frame. If he stands up here, Zig, 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 Zig. Yeah, of course he's not going to listen, but maybe he'll come in the background here. He's going to have those pointed, upright ears. That is a big characteristic of a Hampshire. And then he's also going to have that black backside with a kind of white belt over the front legs, which is very apparent in Hampshires as well. Now, Hampshires, they get very large. Obviously, a meat pig, they can get upwards of 500-600 pounds if you would let them. Obviously, a breeding pair, you may. If you're raising them for meat, you're typically going to be putting them in the freezer by 300 pounds or so. But he has a lot more of the characteristics of a Hampshire here, where she, aside from the coloration and the markings, she appears to be more of a guinea. So it's interesting to kind of see what we have here. Now, when we picked them up from the farm, I'm not really sure. The guy said that they were 75, 25, 75 on the guinea hog side, 25 Hampshire. I have a feeling that that's not correct. He's simply just seems too big to be 75, 25. And again, he displays a lot of the characteristics of a Hampshire. Now, one thing with Hampshire pigs, and all of our pigs have this characteristic, they're very curious. They love to explore. And these piglets right now, this woven wire here, even with the electric that we have behind us, they find ways out all the time, and they're exploring. Now, fortunately here, Zig and Betsy, they're not getting out. We have the electric wire and the woven wire, so they're unable to kind of fit through there. But they are definitely curious. They're known for their rooting. Look at his ears, perfect. It's like he's posing for a picture. Fortunately, he's going to be here for a while. We're not planning on putting him in the freezer. He's a good breeder, and that's another characteristic of actually both pigs. All right, guys, so now that we talked about the two breeds that go into our cross here, let's talk about why we got these, why we decided that a Hampshire guinea hog cross was going to be right for our farm. Well, guys, if you really want to know the truth, it was all about price. So rewind back to last year. We had our sheep here in our pasture that I'm sitting right next to, and I really wanted to get pigs. I didn't have a fence in place. I didn't have any infrastructure for pigs. Started surfing Craigslist, and I come across Hampshire guinea hog crosses, $60 a piece. Hey, why not? Cheap pigs, yeah, that's for me. So I went ahead and contacted the guy, and within a couple days we were out there picking them up. Little did I know, at $60 a piece, two pigs, $120. Our sow Betsy here, she was pregnant, she was bred. So we ended up with 8 piglets. So now we're at 10 pigs for $120. So 12 bucks a pig. Pretty good deal. And we didn't have a fence. So I basically went ahead, we used electric netting for the time being. We ended up getting the sheep out of the pasture, and it already was woven wire, so it worked out well. But it was definitely more pigs than I wanted to take on, and yeah, the rest is history. So here we are, second litter of piglets behind me. That first litter was already grown out. We've already processed a bunch, and this is where we're at. So I quickly got in over my head with pigs here on the farm, and that's all right. The breed has been great to this point. You know, there was really no rhyme or reason, but we're kind of learning along the way, and I'm actually really enjoying this breed for a lot of reasons that I talked about already. And probably the biggest question you all have is, okay, let's talk about the meat a little bit. What type of results are we getting? How about the feed conversion? Well, if you're gonna raise this animal for profit, I'm gonna say right now, it's probably not gonna be your choice. I would say, you know, Kyle, I know, is raising Herefords. That's probably going to be a better option for you. You're gonna have a lot better feed conversion. Your animals are gonna get a lot larger in a shorter period of time, which that's a lot of money. So these animals, they're gonna take longer. The first few that we raised out to 8 months. They were relatively small animals. It was just the time we had to process them. This year, we're gonna do an experiment. We're gonna let them go a lot longer. I'm gonna give them almost a year until harvest. As Zig's coming in next to me. He's a huge animal, but he's the only one that's gotten this big. So we're gonna give the others, the piglets here, we're gonna give them up until about November, maybe October. So 11 months to a year, and we're gonna see what type of size we can put on them. Now, understandingly, that's going to require more feed input. So I'm going to try to go a little more natural, a little more forage type, let them root a little more and see what we can come up with there. But again, if you're going to raise these for money, if you're going to try to profit off of these animals, it's probably not going to be the right choice. Now, the meat was fantastic. I will say we processed them. I like a fattier cut, and this is definitely going to give you a fattier cut. You know, hence the guinea hog that's in them. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Both breeds are known for high quality meat. So there's no reason to believe that we wouldn't have high quality meat out of this cross. It's just that they're going to take longer. Now, if you're looking for just a homestead animal, something that's going to be a little smaller, easier to handle, something that's going to be kind of dual purpose as far as rooting, Well, I think these guys are fantastic. I mean, take a look at the rooting. See what they did behind me in the other pasture. I mean, they cleaned that thing right out. We just moved them into this pasture. This is all just stickers and weeds, and this thing will be cleaned out within a few weeks. I'm actually working on taking some videos to kind of show you guys some before and after to just kind of prove out, you know, what these animals are doing for us. So if you're interested in this cross for that, well, it's definitely a great choice. As far as breeding, you know, we've had tremendous results so far. You know, for somebody that really doesn't know or it didn't know what we were getting into, you know, they made it really easy for us. You can see the piglets here behind me. Betsy, she's been a fantastic sow. She's raised these animals through the cold, you know, the snow, the rain, all that stuff, guys. And she's really just made our lives easier. 2 litters she's had for us. Both were 8 piglets. Hopefully you can hear me with that going over, but both were 8 piglets. We of course lost a few, and you know, that does happen, some roll-ups and things like that. It's unfortunate, but it is part of it. So again, if we were talking just homestead situation, you know, I highly recommend. I don't know what would happen if you just went Hampshire. I'm not sure. If you went American Guinea Hog, I don't think I would like that. You know, I think it would be too small of a pig, too much fat, not enough meat. You know, we are raising these for meat, so I just don't think the American Guinea Hog would work for us here. But hey, if that's what you want, definitely you kind of know the characteristics now, might be an option for you. I think we'd be okay with the Hampshire. Again, I suspect this guy is more Hampshire than not, and he's been fine for us. And I would say, you know, the biggest downfall to this breed is, you know, their curiosity, their willingness to explore, and their rooting, you know, becomes too much sometimes. So once they clear this out, you know, right now they have plenty to kind of work on, but once they clear it out, they are going to get bored. They're going to try to test the fence again, and they will eventually break out. So it's important to have your infrastructure. It's important to have a plan if you're gonna have, I'm gonna blame the Hampshires on this. Ziggy, this is your fault. I'm blaming you. Blaming the Hampshires because that's what they're known for. I mean, you look at them. So he's the culprit, but anyway, they will get bored. They will find ways out. And that's something that you just have to, you know, put extra security in place. It's not the end of the world. It's just, you know, you have to take a little bit extra precaution. And I almost forgot. The fact that they're friendly, they're easy to work with, and if you have kids, guys, you know, that's really what you want. You don't want aggressive animals. We talk about our sheep and we talk about our aggressive ram, and I was just saying to my wife that, you know, I think it might be time for him to go because, you know, we can't have the kids around. We're trying to move them around. We can't be getting hit by him. Pigs are the same way. I mean, look how big this animal is. He could do so much damage to you. But you saw he was just right here. I can pretty much pet him. No concern there whatsoever. Now I wouldn't, at this point at least, I wouldn't let the kids in here anyway, especially with this big boar. While we're talking about him, what do you think he weighs? Take a guess, drop a comment below. But eventually the kids are gonna wanna be involved. They're gonna wanna be in here. My daughter, I mean, she loves coming out here and feeding the pigs. So you're gonna want a friendlier animal, something that you're not gonna have to worry about as much. Obviously, guys, you always have to use caution. They're animals, you know, you gotta use safety. But for the most part, I have had zero concern about handling him. Now he's gonna come in here and bite my arm off, but what's up, bud? But anyway, I think that is all we have to cover today. So our future plans with these animals are 7 piglets behind. We're going to raise out for this year. We are going to expect another farrowing, another litter of piglets here, probably in late spring, I would suspect. So at that point, we're going to probably sell off some of the animals. We'll sell them for what they are. We'll see what we get for them. I'm not looking to make a killing on these animals again. I just can't take on, you know, say we have 8 again, I can't have, that would be 17 pigs. We had that for a short time here and it was insanity, a lot of feed, so it's not gonna happen again. So if we're lucky enough to have that farrowing, that's the plan. So we will be certain to give you updates along the way, as always. And guys, I am really looking forward to getting on with Kyle and Joe Saturday night. Anytime you have a group discussion about these things, you know, I think it's very value adding for everybody. Hopefully you, the viewers, are going to find the same thing. If you're looking at pigs for this coming season, hopefully we're going to point you in the right direction. So with that being said, I'm also going to drop in links below in the description for their videos. Please check them out, show them support, check out what types of pigs they're raising. they're probably cooler than ours anyway. So give them a like while you're over there, hit the subscribe button, and thank you guys for doing so. If you like what we're doing, as always, save a like for us, hit the subscribe button, drop some questions, comments below. We're happy to hear from you, happy to get back, even some suggestions. Some of you guys out there may know a lot more about pigs than I do. Happy to hear from you. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night.